I can't believe they're still out there. Oh, hey gang, welcome to another edition of Doc Schlock, where it's a review of the movie The Killer Shrews. And I am going to have a real serious talk with our neighbors. I'll tell you what here in a few minutes. This one is about a bunch of people who are stranded on an island after a hurricane, and on the island, they wind up finding a mad doctor, mad scientist named Marlowe, who is trying to work on some sort of an experiment to make human beings smaller to try and solve the world hunger problem. So he tries his little experiment out on some shrews, and well, the shrews become gigantic, and they start going after everybody on the island, and they have a very poisonous bite to them. So, of course, naturally, the shrews take out pretty much just about everybody. And it's down to Thorne and Marlowe to try and escape the island. Jerry, who was one of the other survivors, gets the shrews to chase him, and it seems like they killed him. Well, until the sequel, which was done like 50, 60 years later. So the others wind up making these almost like protective tank-like things to cover themselves up with out of some old tubs to try and keep themselves from not becoming bitten. And they finally make it out alive, and they swim to a boat where they're able to get away safely until, as I mentioned before, the not too longly awaited sequel, The Return of the Killer Shrews. The movie stars James Best, who you probably might know from the Andy Griffith Show. Well, he was on there a couple of times. Plus, he was also Sheriff Roscoe B. Coltrane from the Dukes of Hazzard. And also Ken Curtis, who played Festus on Gunsmoke for many, many years. He was in the movie, too. So, why did this movie suck? Well, the so-called killer shrews in this movie were actually dogs with a bunch of fur put on them and everything like that. The shrew attacks were kind of bad and stupid and everything like that. And it's really, really strange to see Jerry, played by James Best, apparently survive his attack. And yeah, I've seen the trailer for Return of the Killer Shrews, and believe me, them in the Return movie look a whole lot worse. The CGI is horrible in that one. And what's weird is that John Schneider actually appears in the sequel. So kind of ironic there in a way that you have two people from the Dukes of Hazzard reuniting for a really, really crappy low-budget horror movie. The killer shrews in question are just basically dogs, you can tell. But it's a bad movie in a lot of ways, but not extremely bad. But you may get a few good laughs out of it and everything like that. The effects in it, terribly bad. But I think it should definitely be put on a DVD series of guilty pleasure bad horror movies. Maybe not. I don't know. But finding out James Best was in it, that was a shock. Ken Curtis, who, again, like I said, he was on Gunsmoke for so many years, that was a shock too. And I'm like, why do they have a couple of really good actors in a piece of crap movie like this? It's really weird. The dog's barking. You're probably wondering about that. Well, it turns out our neighbors decided that they wanted to hang a bunch of meat over here. I said no problem, thinking maybe they were going to do it inside. No, they decided to hang steaks, hams, all kinds of meat you can hang on a hook or on a clothesline around here. And there have been dogs barking like crazy to try and get at the meat. And I'm about ready to just grab it all, throw it over in the neighbor's yard, maybe throw it in their windows too, and see maybe they could have themselves a little fight with some killer shrews. I mean, dogs. I mean, well, you know what I mean. Yeah, that you can look at the poster right there and tell it's a dog. In this movie, to have dogs as giant killer shrews didn't make a whole lot of sense. But it was done in the 50s. What are you supposed to do? In the sequel, yikes. I'll probably be reviewing it sometime soon if I can find it. But there you guys have it, a review of The Killer Shrews. If you like my videos, feel free to subscribe. And if you have a horror, sci-fi horror, comedy horror, fantasy horror movie that looked like it had something that had nothing to do with the title of it, but you could obviously tell what it was, send it my way and I'll get on it ASAP. Thank you guys so very, very much for watching, and until next time, stay strong and rock on. Don't go messing with the mailman. I think he has rabies. I warned him.